Well, we've talked a lot about DC for a little bit, but we still have some stuff to talk about for Marvel. We ran down Ant-Man because Ant-Man, fuck you. Uh, the big story that they're talking about when it comes to how Phase 3 is going to shape up, they said that how good of an indicator that Winter Soldier was for Phase 2, where it sort of like formed a lot of what's going on, that apparently is going to be Thor Ragnarok.
Hmm.
And I don't know who the director is, if they figure that out or whatever. I hope it's not the guy who did the last one, because there was some problems with that one. But Thor is a character that I went into expecting the movie to suck, and I actually really liked the Thor movie. Well, a hell of a lot better than I thought I was going to, and especially because I hate half the characters. Uh, but Thor is one of my favorite ones that they've got going right now, and I'm really excited about Thor Ragnarok. What about you guys? Is that something that you're gonna spend your money on that you were mentioning earlier, Caroline, or is this another one that you're gonna kind of just wait, download? Download legally, I should say. Yes.
Download legally, obviously. I think that for now, and this is solely because I'm very picky when it comes to the movies I watch in theater. I only go to watch horror pretty much. But let's say that if my friends wanted to go and watch a superhero movie, I feel like I would go and I would watch it. I wouldn't go by myself and watch it and feel like I'm just like spending my own money to do it. But if there's other people willing to spend their money with me, I would go.
What about you, Dace? What do you think about Thor Ragnarok?
I'm definitely going to see it. I hope they tone back a bit on Loki. I love Loki. I love Tom Hiddleston. I think he's amazing at it.
Who does it?
I think they gave him way too much in the last one. That was he's funny. I enjoyed it, but it's going to get to a point where it's going to get old, and I hope they don't do too much with it. But I'm excited for it.
Oh, I'm kind of doing the opposite. I hope that Loki's all over the fucking place because Loki does have an influence on Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of like is the puppet master sort of a lot of that stuff. They need to have Surtur. They need to have a lot of other characters, but Loki gotta,
Maybe I phrased it wrong. Not so much less Loki, less talking from Loki, like less of the really cheesy over the top jokes, like
less Tom Hiddleston.
Yes. Stop it. You're funny. We get it.
Can I just say that I'm more excited to read all the crazy homoerotic fanfic that is coming out from these movies than actually watching them? Because I think they're going to be great.
I'm going to choose to not believe that exists. It'll hurt my feelings.
Is there any about Margot Robbie?
Oh, God.
I hope not.
She's going to be terrible.
She's going to be terrible. She's going to be so... Oh, God.
Her audition should just say the word pudding. If you say it wrong, you don't get it.
Well, if she says pudding, then there's definitely an issue. She's got to say pudding.
Yeah, exactly. There's no J in it. It stops at N.
See, I'm more worried about what's his face is Lex Luthor.
Really?
Yeah, he looks like a little punk kid. Luthor should be the same age as Superman.
Who's playing him again?
Jesse Eisenberg, the one who was Mark Zuckerberg, and
yeah.
He's not Luthor. Like,
he just looks like a freaking Cheeto face. Like he's not
Cheeto face.
He looks like a Cheeto. He really does.
All right, which shape?
I'm googling both those things right now.
Because I'm totally thinking of the bag of the mixed shapes right now. There's the X's and O's. There's the checkers.
The one that's kind of like long and lumpy, like that's the one that I'm thinking about.
Like the crunchy Cheetos, the normal ones?
Oh, wait, yeah. Not even the mascot? You're talking about the food itself?
I'm talking about the food itself.
I need to see this.
Well, he should have just been cast as Cheeto Man.
He should. He would do a great job. He'd do a fine job.
I hope that at some point we can get Jesse Eisenberg to do an interview for Fanboys Anonymous. I'll be like, question sent in from Caroline. Why weren't you cast as Cheeto Face?
Because he'd be perfect for it.
The Batman villain.
Yeah. All of his gimmicks are about Cheetos. Oh man, I want some Cheetos now.
walks around leaving like powdery neon orange stuff.
When
Oh, my shit's orange! What the hell?
When Batman takes him down, he's like, "Why did you do it?" And he's like, "It's not easy being cheesy."
Man, this is really inconvenient. I wore white today. What the hell, man? It's not even cool. I have orange stains all over me.
I think we figured out who's going to be the main villain in the Cyborg movie.
Oh,
Cheeto.
you're welcome. You're very welcome.
I totally forgot what I was going to say about Eisenberg, but I think that this ended up going in a much better way instead. All right, well, there's only two more things that I kind of wanted to bring up for different points that we can go back and forth about, because we don't want this podcast to go on for 4 hours. It's not
Cheetos and Eisenberg.
It's not Interstellar.
Fuck Nolan, Jesus, hate that guy.
I still love you, Nolan. If we talk more about the Marvel side of things, so we've got we talked a little bit about Black Panther. We ran down a lot of these movies and stuff, but the one thing that we really didn't give too much of a discussion about, which we DC brought it up, but they announced Infinity War is going to be split up, Part 1 and Part 2. Now, Justice League is going to be split up, Part 1 and Part 2.
Copycats.
Yeah. I think they actually announced the Justice League Part 1, Part 2 beforehand, but I guarantee they didn't have plans for that more than fucking Marvel did. I am really weird about this. At first, I was thinking Infinity War being split up is a good idea. Now I'm actually leaning more towards I wish that they would have given it a different title. Justice League Part 1 and Part 2, until they start building this universe, I don't like the idea that it's a Part 1 and Part 2 thing. To me, Justice League, they're going in a bad fucking direction anyway, so I don't know why I'm surprised, but if the rumors are true that they're going to do Brainiac in the first one and then Darkseid in the second one, I don't see why they need to be Part 1 and Part 2, because Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2, they're definitely going to have more connectivity. But how do you want Marvel to go on past Infinity War Part 2? Because that's the last one that they announced, and the last one that the DC announced was, I mean, we're going to have Justice League Part 2, and then it's going to be Cyborg and Green Lantern, so they're going to keep doing things, and assuming that they're going to do, you know, a Batman film, probably a sequel to Wonder Woman, sequel to Flash, sequel to Aquaman, 10 sequels to Cyborg. But DC is going to be doing this for a while. Marvel is not going to stop. So what do you think that they should do? How should Infinity War Part 2 end, and where should they go from there? Dace, you said that you think Ms. Marvel can end up being the head of the Avengers. How so? And where does this go into movie plans? Do you get more Ant-Man movies, more Guardians, another sequel to Black Panther? Does Thor pop up again, or is Ragnarok the end? Like,
I feel like with Carol and them, it'll be heading in the new Avengers direction, which is gonna be I don't know what the definition will be for new Avengers when it comes that time, because of course in the new Avengers it has like Wolverine and Spider-Man, and that's just not gonna happen. And friggin' Thing. So it's just Luke Cage and Ms. Marvel. But I think we're going to get a new group of people to be invested in. I think we're going to get 2 more Black Panther movies, 2 Captain Marvel movies, maybe 2 Doctor Strange movies after this. They're gearing up for new characters to distance themselves from Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, to where they can maybe 10, 20 or 10, 15 years down the road reintroduce those characters played by different people.
That makes sense.
how would you do it, Caroline?
I feel like, I mean, my first instinct is to say it really depends on how these movies do box office wise and how much money the executives are going to make out of them and merchandise. But I think that Days is like bringing up a very important point, is that they have to keep in mind that if they want these characters to live on, they definitely, they do need the audience to kind of, you know, especially because we have like someone like Robert Downey Jr. Like, he's really strong as Iron Man. Like, people like me that really didn't really read the comics and saw the movies, like, to me, he is Iron Man. So it's going to take a while for that image to go away so that another person can successfully take that part. So I think that Days is onto something. I think, like, I agree with what he said.